Okay. Thanks, Peter. Sanbonan. Mulweni. Tumelang. Yeah. My name, as already introduced by Peter, is Thando Nogwaza. I'm the provincial manager of LGSeta. In fact, LGSeta has presence in all the provinces. In our country, we have 9 provincial offices, and I man one of those based in Bedford View, in Germiston. I think Peter said something very, very important here, about when he was introducing me, about government being the biggest employer in the country, okay? And you would understand not only the national government, Peter, but basically where a lot of people are employed in local government. I'm not going to follow my presentation over there. But what I want us to start with a question here, okay? What is the first thing when you wake up in the morning that you do when you get out of bed? You open your eyes. After that, what do you do? Can't hear? What? Okay. But obviously, after that, what do? You go and brush your teeth, right? What do you do when you're going to brush your teeth? You open up a tap, right? Where does that water come from? Who provides that water? Who? The municipality, isn't it? Right? The municipality. And the next thing that you do, of course, even before that, once you open up your eyes, if it's in the morning, you turn on the light, isn't it? And you have electricity. Where does it come from? It comes from Eskom, right? I understand, but where do you buy your electricity? Generally, you buy it from the municipality, isn't it? Yeah. Now, what I'm trying to illustrate here is that if you were to take that journey, you iron your clothes, you have your cereal, and then you get out of the house, you get into the street, isn't it? You go to school. The roads that you see there, who maintains them? Who brings them along? It's the municipality, isn't it? Now, I know that generally a lot of people have been around in gatherings like this. And when you ask students and ask people what's the first career, the career that they think about, nobody ever thinks about local government. I want to change that today, okay? I want to change that today because just so that you can understand that local government is the most important form of government that is close to us, that is supposed to provide us with a lot of services. Electricity, as I've already mentioned, water and sanitation, as I've mentioned already, sewerage, as well as stormwater, refuse removal. People come, those big trucks, they come and pick up garbage from your houses almost every week. Firefighting, we all know that. Emergency services, etc., etc. But the main thing here that I want you to understand is that LGSeta is responsible for making sure that, one, we have the skills in local government, right? That we have the various skills that are needed in local government. The guys, for instance, she said, I mean, the young lady there in front, she said the first thing that it does, and I said, you open up the tap. The tap that you drink, generally in most cases, especially in our urban areas, is clean, isn't it? Who cleans it? It's cleaned by a water process controller, right? Somebody who has studied that. There are engineers there that are responsible for making sure that we have water in our reservoirs, okay? In our reservoirs. You would understand, for instance, most of you here in Khamin, we're coming from around, where are you coming from? Where is that? Yes. Obviously, most of the water around here, especially in this area, comes from somewhere else, right? Through pipes. It comes as being, I mean, water that has not been purified, but somebody then does purify that water and all that. What I'm trying to illustrate to you is that you would have that. But besides that, we also, for instance, in municipalities, would have, for instance, people, we need people who are going to man our finances in local government, right? People that are going to make sure that the monies that are given by the national government and the provincial government to the local government, right, that are well used. I'm sure most of you, from time to time on TV, you see what is called a service, delivery protest, where people are protesting. You've seen that, isn't it? Why is it so? Why do, yes, young man? What might cause that? What might cause that? Why would, you remember, yeah, I thank you very much for that one. The next question, what might cause that? That people will really, I mean, that the local government doesn't deliver on what it's supposed to deliver, yes? Corruption being one of them. Another, anybody else? Yes, Baba? No. That might not be the thing. I just want you to think about this. Okay, let me tell you what are the issues. In many cases, what you'll find out, the root cause of some of the, yes, it's corruption in some cases, but in the main, what you will understand, of course, is that the people who are manning, for instance, the person who's supposed to be the head, for instance, of making the head of the roads and stormwater, it's someone who doesn't have qualifications, right? It's someone who doesn't have qualifications. The same, I mean, with, the people, for instance, who are supposed to be dealing with our monies in the municipalities. You pick up that through corruption, as she says, can't run away from it. Somebody has taken somebody with standard 10 or even lesser than that and put them to make sure that they, to run the funds of which is not right? Now, it is very, very important that you as the future, I think that's what Mr. Ndoro has said here, that you as the future should make sure that at least, in your choice of careers, fortunately for local government, the local government Seta, it's unlike other Setas. We have all the things that have to do. For instance, the speaker before me talked about, for instance, leather, where is that leather generally, processed? It's processed in urban areas. There would be an area somewhere in town where all people that are dealing with the processing of leather will get land. From where? They will get land and services from whom? From the municipality. To be able, for instance, to tan the leather, and then the leather gets to be processed into bags or into shoes, okay? Now, I'm saying to you, in local government, you have a variety of trades. You would have, for instance, amongst others, as I mentioned earlier, ones that deal with finance. You would have artisans. Artisans, we're talking about mechanics, we're talking about electricians, right? You would have professionals there, various professionals, people that are dealing with computers, for instance, those that make sure that when you go there to pay the rent, they are able to retrieve your information through the computer. You've got a variety of trades out there. But as I say, local government is very, very important. And we would hope that most of you, will play an important role in making sure that at least in the future, we do not have service delivery. Because I can tell you for a fact, as a matter of fact, for instance, you'll pick up that almost 40% of employees in our municipalities, most of them have less than standard 7. 40%, a big number. People who need a bed, right? You would know why the case is so, because most of them did not get opportunities in the past, because of what was happening in the past. So I'm saying to you that space, and just to, again, on the statistics that I talk about, most of those that I'm saying are having, less than standard 7, most of them are old. By the time you get out of school and perhaps tertiary institutions, most of them would have exited the system. And there would be posts there, but we want those posts in the future to be filled by learned people, okay? But let's talk about opportunities now that are available in local government. I'm not going to go back and mention a lot of things that have been mentioned here, about learnerships and all that. But I just want us to look at how LGSeta funds training, right? We've got about 268 municipalities in the country, right? All of them pay levy. Let me explain by that. Through Skills Development Act and Skills Development Levy, anybody in the country who employs people that are more than 50 is supposed to pay 1% of the total wage bill. If you are paying your workers, 200,000 per year, it is expected that you should pay 20,000 towards a skills levy. What does that levy do? That levy is used, right, to fund training programs. It happens right through all the setas. It happens with our seta, It funds the running of the setas. It funds programs within the setas, okay? And with local government seta, we're very unique to the rest of the setas in that we, in the first place, operate in a very political environment. That's number one, right? Secondly, we have what is called a capped audience. We've got our municipalities are there for 5 years or so at any time. Because I remember, for instance, now we've got about 268. We used to have, so we've got constituencies that are there. Unlike other setas, when I say other setas, for instance, Seta, right? Seta also get funding from anybody who is in the manufacturing, for instance, doing manufacturing. But you would know that most of those companies from time to time go down, right? They get a bust and all that. Now, because of our unique situation, the situation is that we do not fund the public directly, right? We do not fund the public directly. But what we do We ask municipalities, omasipala, siyabacela, we ask them to apply for funding from us to train, one, their workers, and two, to train the unemployed, okay? And to train the unemployed. We ask them to do that. They do that every year. As I'm speaking to you, today they are supposed to give us all the names of the people that are going to train. I think today is the last date for them to submit some of these things, okay? That's what we do, which means you as a public, you as a learner, you should make sure that you visit your ward councillor. Visit your ward councillor and ask for opportunities from there, because that's the only way that we will be able to access our funding. They do submit, of course, the names of the unemployed. But the young lady there talked about something that I'm so ashamed of, corruption most of the time, where you pick up that those unemployed would come mainly from some groups that are known. But it's your right as a citizen of the city and as a citizen in the ward to pester those people, go to them, ask them to put your CV or your name or whatever in their database so that you can be part of of the programs that are run by the Setas. By the way, we run several Setas, several programs. As you would see there, we run learnerships, or as have already been mentioned. We also run skills programs, apprenticeships. We also have bursaries. Okay? And I'm saying, unfortunately for the public, but I want to urge you. I know it's unfair, but we can't do otherwise. I had said we are operating within a political, so our first priority, because of that, we are forced to deal with municipalities before we look at the public. But I can tell you now here that you would know and remember that, most of you, when there is a crisis, for instance, when there was during the campaign of Fees Must Fall by your brothers and sisters at universities around the country, LGSeta came to play an important role. We funded about 700 bursaries there. Now, I'm saying you should visit your local ward councillor. Besides the bursaries that I'm talking about, also, besides the funding that I say we give, municipalities are also required to also finance training. And in many municipalities, I know, for instance, that in the city of Ekurhuleni, in the city of Johannesburg, Mogale City, Rand West, you name them, most of them have bursaries. And they also offer opportunities for you to participate in the skills programs and learning programs, and learnerships. We also offer funding for internships. Once somebody finishes school, university or the other one, or the TVET colleges, we give them opportunities. We give them opportunities internally. I'm sure some of you who have been, who have walked those stands, you have seen there are two or three ladies out there, right? Those are our interns. We do take interns in the city. Those are our interns. They are qualified. They've got degrees, but we had to give them an opportunity, experience, as was said, because nobody wants to take somebody without experience. Okay, we do offer those opportunities as well. Work integrated learning. I just wanted to know now that some of you who are going to do, some of the courses at universities and TVET colleges, some of those courses and will require you to do practical. What we used to call in the past in-service training. They would require you to go, for you to qualify. They would require you to go to the workplace and experience the workplace. We fund that. It's called wet integrate, integrated. We deal with those. That is taking in of those guys. And then, of course, in some cases, which is not big, which was supposed to be big, we do what is called a recognition of prior learning, but that would be not for you, but for older guys. And something else that I just want to mention there, the last one, what is called candidacy. We found candidacy. What happens is that once you finish university, say you have finished your engineering in you finish your electrical engineering at a university or technicon somewhere, or in a technical college somewhere. What would be required of you? You will be required to go and do the work for a certain number of years in order for you to qualify, right? And in that process, before you become what is called a fully qualified engineer, for instance, electrical engineer, you would have to do hours, you have to do certain, work for you to really, really qualify at the end. Now, what happens is that there is what is called candidacy. Somebody would then register and then through the process qualify at the end. We fund that training of engineers up until they qualify. I think that is all that I want to talk about today. I will take questions.
Okay.